This week's episode is brought to you by Crown Haven Wealth Advisors, your retirement reimagined. Coming up today on RetireSHIELD TV.
People should be asking themselves, do you want to invest in something that we know from all of human history is volatile, typically goes down, every 7 years, can have major implications for how we're able to enjoy our life, because the entire reason we work so hard is to get to that period of time where we can enjoy it? Or do we want to use a tool that's explicitly designed for the purpose of enjoying our life? Understanding exactly who you are, exactly what you're trying to accomplish. That is how the plan is built. Every single client helps us build the plan customized for them.
Knowing people and building trust. Get on the right path to achieve your retirement goals with Casey Marx and the team at Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. Understand the process and challenges of retirement planning. Discover the keys to a successful retirement.
Hello and welcome to RetireSHIELD TV. I'm consumer advocate Morgan Patrick, and as always, I am joined by the founder and CEO of Crown Haven Wealth Advisors and creator of the RetireSHIELD process, Casey Marx. Casey is not only the author of Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp, he is also a retirement income certified professional as well as a certified financial fiduciary. It is good to see you, Casey.
It's good to see you too, Morgan.
So Casey, mathematically, we are all getting closer to retirement. We're all headed there, and we're getting closer every single day. So for some people, man, that is a big fear.
Yeah, and you know what? When thinking about retirement planning, we really have to think about how much time we have placed in time and energy to get here in the first place. And retirement really is all about distribution of assets. For 99.9% of the population, you are saving to create income later. So I think the fundamental question we need to ask ourselves when we're talking about retirement planning is your money insured against all of the time and energy that you've spent in order to accumulate the assets that you have? And what I mean by that is, our clients have worked 30, 40 years to save what they have. They didn't just, it's not just like human beings or robots. We've spent those 30, 40 years maybe wanting to pursue passions, maybe wanting to take our wives or our significant others on, vacations. We could have brothers, sisters strewn across the United States. We haven't been able to spend, holidays with those people. There are all these things that we care about as human beings. And, if we were to imagine like our lives as like a matrix, it would be beautiful if there were a little box that was our job, there'd be a little box that were our passions, a little box were our relationship, and we gave equal time and energy to all of those things. But in reality, our job takes up a huge blob of that matrix. And then when we retire, our hope is that that vacuum will be filled with all of the things that we didn't have time and energy for in the first place. Well, the reason people have so much fear about retirement is because, quite frankly, the retirement planning industry didn't exist until about 20 years ago. So folks were having to use old methodologies to try to create income from tools that don't solve the problem. So in other words, they'd have their 401k, they'd have their IRA, they'd have whatever they have, and they'd look at this big pile of cash and they'd go, okay, I need to create income from this, but I know that it's inherently volatile and unsafe. In a lot of situations, I'm being charged a fee for that privilege. Well, over the last 20 years, there has been a just huge push towards retirement planning. And I witnessed this in my own family, the devastation that occurred with my mother. So that's why we're here, is to help you insure against your own time and energy so that you can enjoy all of those things that, quite frankly, you might not have been enjoying over the past 20, 30, 40 years.
And having that plan and being able to, as you like to say, have those shoulders kind of come down and know that you're going to be okay.
The reason we built our planning process the way we built our planning process is because when I looked at it, even for my own life, if I were on the precipice of retirement and I was staring, I was at the top of the mountain looking down, and I knew that I had placed all of that time and energy into saving what I had saved, and then my fundamental question was, I need to create income, replacement income, from something that is inherently volatile and unsafe, and I am being charged a fee for that privilege, or I'm having to manage it myself, which takes a lot of time and energy, or I can use a tool that is explicitly designed to create secure income because it is insured, it is safe, it creates consistent returns, and it's inflation protected. Which tool would I use to create secure income?
That one.
I would use this tool all day long, right? And it's just logical. So, people should be asking themselves, do you want to invest in something that we know from all of human history is volatile, typically goes down, every 7 years, can have major implications for how we're able to enjoy our life, because the entire reason we work so hard is to get to that period of time where we can enjoy it? Or do we want to use a tool that's explicitly designed for the purpose of enjoying our life? And that's really what we're talking about here.
But what if you're already in retirement?
We can solve that too. We have folks that are already in retirement, and we get reached out to by folks that are 10 years out from retirement, 5 years out from retirement, 3 years out from retirement. They've already been retired for 5 years. And the bell gets rung in folks, figurative minds for different reasons, right? But if you're already retired and you just experienced 2022 and you lost 20%, you're looking for solutions. If you're not retired and you're 5 years out from retirement and you just experienced 2022, you're looking for solutions.
Right.
So regardless of where you're at, the solution exists. What's important is to be working with an independent and fiduciary team where their specialty is providing that solution. And so the numbers are easy. It's just using the proper tools for each job. And that doesn't mean that 100% of our money is used in that tool, by the way. I'm a relatively young guy. I've got some of my money in these tools already because I use it as a bond replacement. I use it to grow consistently because I know hitting doubles consistently is going to serve me well without market volatility, interest rate risk, or cost associated with it. For folks that are 65, 60, 70, whatever, a higher percentage of assets should be allocated to something without volatility, because if that is done that way, you've reduced the variability of outcome, which allows you to know you've got certainty of income, which then creates a stress-free retirement. And if I were to ask 100 people on the street right now, do you want to be stressed out during your retirement? Do you want to be managing investments yourself? Do you want to be managing an advisor? Do you want to be calling up an advisor every 6 months going, what in the wide world sport's going on and why am I paying you a fee?
Right.
Do you want to be doing any of that? They'd say no. They'd be saying, I want to enjoy my life, whatever that looks like for me. So let's use the tool to solve the problem.
Got to have a plan. You got to have a plan that has a shield.
Yes.
RetireSHIELD. We're about to take a quick break, but if you want your own personalized RetireSHIELD plan or a free copy of Casey's Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp, well, make sure to call the number that is on your screen right now. Again, call that number and you set that up, or you can, you'll talk to one of our representatives, or you can visit our website, which is RetireSHIELD.tv. Again, the website, RetireSHIELD.tv.
Do you know how much you're paying in fees or commissions with your current plan or advisor? What about unnecessary risk or future tax implications? Sit down with a fiduciary advisor at Crown Haven that can help you understand important concepts and so you can make the best decisions for yourself moving forward. We may even be able to answer questions you didn't even know needed to be asked. Take advantage of our complimentary portfolio diagnostic by calling Casey and his team of fiduciary advisors at Crown Haven today.
Hello and welcome back to RetireSHIELD TV. I'm consumer advocate Morgan Patrick, and as always, I am joined by the founder and CEO of Crown Haven Wealth Advisors and creator of the RetireSHIELD process, Casey Marx. Now, Casey is a retirement income certified professional as well as a certified financial fiduciary. So far today, Casey, we have been conversing about the fact that when the market takes a downturn, numerous Hoosiers spend years attempting to recover from the losses, and in certain cases, they may never fully recuperate those losses. However, as you have demonstrated with a personalized RetireSHIELD plan, your clients are protected against those losses, allowing them to enjoy that stress-free retirement.
And that's really the point of all of this. It's to provide our clients the peace of mind in knowing that they're going to be able to enjoy their lives. And when we talk about insured against losing time, how much is your time and energy worth? And I've never met anybody that wants to go back to work when they're 70 years old. I've never met anybody that wants to be managing their advisory relationship when they're 70 years old. I've never met anybody that wants to come in and have a bunch of meetings with new advisors when they're 70 years old because their plan isn't set up properly, right? So it's very important to set up a plan that is built to last. It's also equally important if in your gut you are feeling like the plan you have isn't a plan, or you just have an investment manager and it's not fulfilling the needs that you have, that you get that plan in place now. Because time is of the essence. Things change rapidly in an ever-evolving economy, and your time is valuable. And the longer people wait to get this plan in place, the more stress they feel. And this is something that we felt over time.
I think about the analogy of the hamster that's on the wheel.
Yes.
And you're just going. And if you don't have the relationship with your retirement planner, your advisor, you kind of feel like you're always on that wheel.
Exactly. And that's such a crucial point to hit. We feel like, we feel like we're hamsters on a wheel for what amounts to be 2/3 of our life. The purpose of retirement is to get off the wheel and to be able to kind of scurry around and do whatever we'd like to do and make up our own adventure. And if you feel right now like there are external forces that are affecting your ability to enjoy your life, then you need a different plan. Period. End of story. Full stop. If you feel like you're having to manage your own plan and that's taking away from the time and energy you could be spending elsewhere, you need a different plan. End of story. Full stop. There are people out there like myself and my firm who are independent fiduciaries that offer a complete retirement plan that solves these issues for folks. That's why our clients are smiling, right? So, we have to really look at the purpose of money and what we're trying to accomplish. But for 99% of the population out there, Morgan, it's, we're investing and saving to have income later. And the reason people are feeling insecure in retirement is because their income's at risk. And the best way to think about this is, what do all the financial prognosticators on the media, online's become a bigger thing in recent years, but in traditional media, what have they always said? There's like these rules that are put out there. You should have 6 months of money in your emergency fund in case you lose your job or you're laid off or whatever. Why is nobody talking about the fact that your portfolio needs to create income when you retire? Everybody at a very basic level knows that that needs to be the case. Very few planners are actualizing that in a certain way for their clients, in a way that guarantees the outcome for their clients. That's quite frankly how our business, Crown Haven, and our RetireSHIELD has become such a force in the marketplace, because we are filling that void, we're filling that gap, and we're providing immense value to folks so that, that purpose of that component of their portfolio is handled. And by the way, this doesn't mean that we allocate 100% of your resources to creating income, because there are multiple purposes of money. You're going to want to still have money for emergencies. You're going to still want to have some money that can hit home runs for you possibly in the marketplace. But, the emergency fund shouldn't be the main event. That's what we call the parked car analogy. You've got this beautiful vehicle that's sitting in the garage not doing anything for you. Inflation's going to outpace you. And you shouldn't have 100% of your assets in the world's largest casino when, if the numbers come up wrong, you're bankrupt. That's not good either. So we want to have income be the forefront of the retirement plan, because even if you don't need it now, I promise you, you're going to need it at some point. And if you don't need it, your spouse is going to need it when you're gone. So it's very important to have this in place.
Earlier you were talking, I felt, directly to those that are already in the planning process.
Yeah.
And I think there are people out there that feel like once they are in a situation, if they're in a relationship, they feel like they're stuck.
Yeah.
You're talking directly to that group earlier about a second opinion.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to multiple people. The folks that feel like they're already with an advisor and they don't have a plan, you need to reach out to us. I mean, we're here, and I keep my calendar sparse on purpose because we do it the right way. But our lines are open 24/7. You're going to get one of our representatives that truly cares about the outcome, and then they're going to put you on my calendar. I'm going to get to know you, and we're going to solve the problem. For folks that are already working with an advisor, you feel like you don't have it solved, come and talk to us. I'm also talking to folks that don't have a plan and want one. Reach out to us. Do it right the first time. I'm also reaching out to, what we call the silent spouses. There's always, one spouse.
That's a good point.
Yeah, there's always one spouse that feels super comfortable. Maybe they have a higher risk tolerance than the other spouse. And then there's this other spouse over here that's seen the definition of insanity play out multiple times over multiple years, but they don't feel like they have any power. And they're going, okay, like I've seen this movie play out 3 or 4 times.
Right.
We had $500,000, now we have $250,000. We had $1 million, now we have $750,000. We have $1.5 million, now we have $900,000. Now we need our money. That's called sequence of returns risk. Now we actually need our money. I don't want this movie to play out again. And they don't know where to go. Bring the silent spouse, bring in the loud spouse to our firm, and we'll show you data. And we'll show the loud spouse how to solve the problem. And I promise you, and we've done this for years, I promise you that we will build a plan that satisfies both spouses' requirements. Because most people that think they need to hit home runs are trying to do it out of good intentions. They want to have enough money. And most spouses that want to park the car are doing it out of good intentions. They don't want to lose money. You can have both at the same time if you use the proper asset location. And the problem with our financial industry is you got folks over here that are saying this is the only way to do it. You got folks over here that are saying this is the only way to do it. And the way to build a retirement plan is to use multiple tools to create the result. And if you're working with an independent contractor, which is what we are, we have access to all the tools.
I tell you folks, it's so important to have a plan. And if you're in a couple situation, come in as a couple. Now with that, we are about to take a quick break. But before we do, I wanted to basically remind you to join the thousands of Hoosiers that have already shielded their retirement with a personalized RetireSHIELD plan. Now, our lines are open right now, so you call the number on the screen to talk with one of our representatives, or you can visit our website, RetireSHIELD.tv, for your own personalized RetireSHIELD plan or a free copy of Casey's book, Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp.
Do you hear that? That's me enjoying my retirement, traveling around the world to play golf where I want, when I want, with whomever I want. Because years ago, I rolled over my IRA with the help of the local, independent, and trusted fiduciary team of advisors at Crown Haven.
Hello and welcome back to RetireSHIELD TV. I'm consumer advocate Morgan Patrick, and as always, I am joined by founder and CEO of Crown Haven Wealth Advisors and creator of the RetireSHIELD process, Casey Marx. Casey is a retirement income certified professional as well as a certified financial fiduciary. So up to this point, Casey, in this discussion, we have been exploring how and when the market declines, many Hoosiers may spend their years trying to recover from those losses, and some may never fully bounce back. Though, with a customized RetireSHIELD plan, your clients, well, they can rest easy knowing that they are protected from losses and can live out their retirement without that stress.
Yeah, and I think we've got some viewer questions right now that folks have submitted into RetireSHIELD TV. And remember, folks, you can ask us your questions by going to RetireSHIELD.tv and filling out the TV question form. So Morgan, let's go ahead and get into those questions.
All right, let's go to Pendleton first. Mark is there. I've always invested in the market throughout my life. I am approaching retirement with fears that the economy is heading into a recession. What suggestions do you have to help protect my portfolio?
Well, you know, Mark, this is a very common concern for folks that are in the retirement red zone, right? You are getting ready to enter into what amounts to be, what should be the most enjoyable part of your life. And you're worried that the big pile of money that you've accumulated over a bunch of years working to enjoy that period of time is at risk. What's most important is to have a plan that is built for you to ensure that those important funds are protected against these economic downturns. And how you get that is you work with a retirement planner like Crown Haven that is extremely specialized in ensuring that outcome for you. So what I would recommend you do is you reach out to our offices. You'll talk to one of our representatives that cares deeply about the outcome. They'll put you on my calendar. I'll sit down, I'll get to know you, we'll figure out what that plan needs to look like, and then we'll actualize it for you so that these fears don't have to be a fear any longer.
We are in the middle of question and answer. Lisa in Brownsburg is next up. Here's the question. I'm currently retired and my income is through taking a percentage of my invested portfolio. And with the recent volatility, my income has been variable, which causes me to constantly be changing my lifestyle. Now, is there a better way that I can create a consistent income without worrying about volatility in that portfolio?
Lisa, there is absolutely a way that you can create this outcome for yourself. The appropriate tool just needs to be used to solve the problem. That's why it's so important to be working with a retirement planning firm that understands how all of these different tools can be used. And you know, at Crown Haven, we don't just use one tool, we use multiple tools in order to build a comprehensive plan for you to solve all of the different issues that you might be facing. One tool can be used for the explicit purpose of creating that income for you so that your income isn't variable, and in fact, it increases with inflation as well. Another tool could be used to make sure that you have enough emergency funds. And then if we want to try to hit home runs in the market, we can try to do that too. But you're speaking to a very common concern that many Hoosiers face, and that's why we're here.
Question and answer. Let's continue with Indianapolis. Mary is there, and here is the question. I've been retired for 5 years now, and I have been watching my investment portfolio decline due to the markets. I'm afraid that I'm going to need to join the workforce again. And if my investments continue to not perform well, I'm going to have to do that. What suggestions would you recommend for me?
Mary, the last thing anybody wants to do is rejoin the workforce when they're supposed to be retired. And we have folks come in on a near consistent basis with this same fear, with this same concern. And that fear comes from not having a retirement plan. It comes from having an investment portfolio. A lot of these folks have an investment portfolio with financial advisors, and the financial advisors don't have a retirement plan for them. I would recommend that you get ahead of this before it becomes an even more dire circumstance. I will tell you that there are solutions available that will prevent you from having to re-enter the workforce. How you do that is you reach out to us, someone will put you on my calendar, I'll get to know you as a human first, what your goals are, and we will get to solving this issue for you.
Question and answer. And just to kind of go back and talk about what we've been talking about as far as how it all happens, the relationship, the diagnostics, and then you deliver the product. I mean, it's so important for the viewers to understand that it is a process.
Yeah.
And you're with them the entire way.
Yeah, and so my job is to guide you to and through retirement with as much ease that is humanly possible. I'm not ignorant to the fact that all of these different topics can seem overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think most people view this as an extremely overwhelming task. There are a lot of folks that don't reach out to advisors because they look online, they try to do their own research, they try to manage it themselves because, you know, if I were looking at it myself, I would say, well, who do I trust to manage my money more than myself, right? So there's also that issue that people are facing. But in reality, all of these issues, for a lot of people, need to be managed almost perfectly to ensure a secure retirement. And what we've done at our firm, and it all comes back to where I came from, I just look at it through the eyes of my mother. So my dad passed away when I was 15 years old, and the first thing that happened was, first of all, she didn't know where all the accounts were. She had no idea what to do. So then she reached out to a local broker-dealer, and the principal of that was my former baseball coach. So she had the trust component down. But then she realized very quickly that there was no plan in place. And then he was very reactionary. So she'd call him and say, what in the heck are we going to do? What in the wide world of sports is going on? He'd say, you got to write it out. Okay? So everything we do, by the way, not really understanding what she was trying to accomplish also. So everything we do at our firm is based on the sum total of all the knowledge that I wish I would have had for my mom. So that starts with the relationship visit. Understanding exactly who you are, exactly what you're trying to accomplish. That is how the plan is built. It's not we have this, cookie cutter plan that we use for every single client. It's quite the opposite of that. It's every single client helps us build the plan customized for them. Then we have the knowledge, the skill, the years of practical experience to build the plan in order to deliver the result and give you certainty of outcome. Because we're independent, we have access to the entire toolbox. Because we're a fiduciary, you know and can sleep well knowing that we're acting in your best interests always, which is why I went out and got the certified fiduciary mark behind my name. Then we don't stop there. We've invested heavily in service at our firm because I know that we can put a fantastic plan in place. And the worst case scenario for a client, even if they know they're okay, is they call up a firm and there's nobody there to answer them. There's going to be things that happen in your life that don't have to do with the markets. Maybe you get sick. Maybe you need money because someone in your family is in trouble, etc., etc. Maybe you have a tax question, whatever. We're here for that. That's what your advisor is supposed to be there for. So if you're currently working with an advisor, if you don't have one, but if you're currently working with an advisor and they're not there to answer questions A, B, C, D, E, F, G, if you don't feel like they're treating you like a human, if you're another number, or if you don't have a plan, you need to be reaching out to us.
All right, well, here we go. That's all the time we have today. We'll be back next week, but if you are looking for peace of mind in your retirement, don't wait. Remember, our lines are open 24/7, so call the number that's on your screen right now, or you can visit RetireSHIELD.tv for your free copy of Casey's book, Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp, or to have a personalized RetireSHIELD plan, again, created for you by Casey and his team of advisors.